Hey guys, it's Jennifer,
And Randy.
and welcome to our channel. Live, laugh, love to roam. So today we're just going to talk about some of the pros and cons of owning a fifth wheel versus a Class A, and why we actually started RVing in the first place.
Well, we started with a fifth wheel. Jennifer kind of deferred that decision to me based on, since I'd be the one doing the driving, the hooking up, and all that kind of thing. And my first thought was, I thought remote work was going to be short-lived or limited, for a period of time.
Yeah, because you were, during the pandemic, he was working from home fully.
Right.
And we thought for sure that would be.
And we were already, before we got the fifth wheel, traveling, and I could work, we'd go on long trips for a week or two, and I would take my computer with me and work from wherever I was at. So we decided RV lifestyle was something we want to do because we love travel.
Yeah, we've always been travelers, so.
So we went with the fifth wheel because I thought, well, I didn't want to spend the money for a Class A, and I seen the advantage, what I thought would be the advantages of Class A at that time, but I felt like, well, if I'm going to spend the money, I needed something when we do go back to the office, to, even if it was on a part-time basis, that I could drive. So I decided the route to go was fifth wheel and with a truck, and I could drive the truck as transportation when we weren't on the road.
And we are fifth wheel for exactly 1 year.
So we got the fifth wheel and liked it. One thing, fifth wheel, besides the advantage to having a vehicle to drive, which in a moment I'll explain how that was also kind of a disadvantage. But having a vehicle to drive, fifth wheels also kind of give you the illusion of more space.
Yes.
We had a 43-foot fifth wheel that very roomy as far as compared to the house. And no, it wasn't, but had a good living space, nice bedroom space.
Because we had a 3-bedroom house, and we sold most of our stuff, and so when we moved into the fifth wheel, I mean, it had room, so that was one reason.
And there was a couple of things that were have to house for Jennifer.
Yes. And had to have a washer and dryer, and I really did not want a dinette / booth. Yeah, those are the two things.
Yeah, so when we got our fifth wheel, had an island, a lot of counter space for for the size of the unit. So we enjoyed it. Had never done it before, so a lot of it was a lot of learning experiences and stuff like that.
We learned a lot.
Back in my younger days, I did drive a truck some over the road, so pulling a trailer seemed natural to me. Backing it was no problem.
So some of the things that we did like about the fifth wheel, like so the more room because it was big, and the theater our fifth wheel had theater seating, so it had big long recliners here, and it had more recliner over there.
Yeah, it had a long line. Instead of a dinette area, it had a long. It would seat. It had 5 recliners basically.
Right.
And a love seat.
Right.
So when we had family over for holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and everybody had plenty ample seating, and we didn't feel crowded.
And the island, I loved the island in the fifth wheel.
Right.
It created that more space to, for cabinet space, like counter space, and I could bake and everything. So yeah, I did like that. But some of the things we did not like about the fifth wheel.
One was, you had to get out and hook it up, and it's just Murphy's Law, my luck, curse, whatever. every time I hooked up or unhooked, it was raining.
Yeah.
And
The very first time.
we could be in a drought, in the middle of summer in the drought, and it would rain when I was hooking or unhooking.
Yeah. Another thing we didn't like was that when you went to wherever you were going, then you unhooked the truck, of course, and then you would go to town or you would go to wherever you were going, and the truck was so big. What kind of truck did we have?
The
Ram
2500.
Yeah, so it was a big truck. So everywhere you went, it was hard to park it, and it just
You go to popular places. You may be in smaller mountain towns or things, and you're trying to cruise around and sightsee and go to things and park in your little downtown areas, and it was hard to park. You used a lot of gas while you was out.
Yes, the truck was a gas guzzler. Like when you were driving it and pulling the fifth wheel, he could see the gas gauge just going down like this.
Yeah, And,
It's crazy.
We was lucky to get, on a good day, level road, about 8 miles a gallon.
Yeah. Also, one thing I did not like about the fifth wheel was there was a pretty steep step inside going up to the bedroom. Well, actually, there was two steps. And the reason I didn't like those, number one, I couldn't keep them clean. Like, I was constantly wiping them, vacuuming, I couldn't keep them clean. And also, by the end of the day, whether I did very much walking or anything, my legs just did not want to do those really steep stairs, And our bedroom was in a slide out.
Yeah.
So you heard everything.
Yeah, the bed was in the slide out part. So when it rained, you heard it. When any outside noise, people driving by, trains,
just everything.
If you're parked at a campground, anybody getting up, starting their car, coming outside, talking, everything was very, very noticeable.
Yeah, funny story. It took us about 9-10 months before we realized we should pull the slide in while it's raining if we're trying to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know why we didn't think of that before, because I couldn't sleep if it was raining.
Well, we could have got slide toppers, which would have mitigated that somewhat, but it was like another expense, or something we wasn't sure whether we was keeping it, so I didn't really want to put that expense.
Yeah.
A couple of drawbacks or cons to the filter wheel was, I know they do make filter wheels with built-in generators, but ours did not. So we had a generator that we carried. We had a back deck, a little 3-foot deck that would fold out on the back of it that we carried the generator on. So anytime we stopped for the night, like at a Walmart or something like that, just while in transit, you'd have to go out there, unsecure the generator to where you could hook up to it, turn it on, and then you'd have power. But the problem with that, we would be traveling, and I know we was on the way to South Dakota, and we stopped for the night in Iowa, and it was like 98 degrees, so it was very hot in there. So we had to hook up the generator. We went and bought groceries, come back, and it just didn't really get cooled off until after dark.
Yeah.
So you can't run.
Another thing that we came across, and it happened the very first time, we backed the RV up and we unhooked the truck, and then we realized that none of our water and electric would reach, so we had to hook the truck back up and move it.
That was my bad. It had been a long day. I was tired. I was just wanting it to be done.
Yeah.
And I should have went back and checked, make sure all that was hooked up before we did unhook. But there's been also times we just needed to reposition a little bit after you'd unhooked, and now you got to rehook and all that, and that's not very convenient. All right, let's
talk about the Class A.
Here's our what we perceived as advantages to a Class A start. One was no hooking up, the ability to access the coach while you're going down the road,
Yes.
and when you stop at a rest area, you want to grab
Use your own bathroom.
use your own bathroom. You want to grab you a drink out of the refrigerator, anything like that.
Yep.
And most Class A's also have a built-in generator that.
Yes.
So once you get to where you stop, theoretically you wouldn't even have to exit. If you want to stop at a rest area, Walmart, Cracker Barrel, and you want to stop for a night just to catch some wings, and
Yep.
you don't even have to exit the vehicle. You can just park,
Yes.
and you can have your generator on before you even get there, have the air conditioners running, have it comfortable in there, and go right to bed and
Yep.
and get you some sleep.
Yeah. So one of the pluses for this particular Class A is the floor plan. We absolutely love the floor plan.
And that was we had, after a year of field tour, we had realized the advantages we thought there was to being in Class A, but we weren't going to make the change just to be making the change at that point.
Yeah.
Because we did like the floor plan in our fifth wheel,
Yeah.
and we were fine in it and everything, but we got to looking at different floor plans, and Class A's all seem to be kind of similar. You got your driving compartment into an open area that is combination dining, living room, kitchen. That's all basically one big room, one area, and then you'll have the rear bedroom, and then the bathroom can either be rear or just between the kitchen and back and the bedroom. So
Yeah, and this rig actually does not have that. It's almost like separate rooms. Go back and look. We did a video of a tour of our new Class A, and this, you can see what we're talking about. Like, this rig actually has pocket doors that closes off the living area, and then it actually has pocket doors that you can close off the bathroom and the bedroom. So it feels like 3 separate rooms.
yeah, you got living room, kitchen, dining area, and then you got the bedroom, and then the bathroom is accessible
Yes.
from the dining, kind of kitchen dining area, or from the bedroom. And the bathroom is also roomy enough. I mean, you can actually change clothes.
You're shaking the camera, honey. Okay, so anyway, also, like, if I'm in here and he's in there, I totally can't hear what he's doing. And I'm hard of hearing, so I can't hear either. So he's talking to me. I'm like, what? And I have to go in there to hear him. I mean, it's like 3 separate rooms.
Right. And so this floor plan we had fell in love with. We had just kind of watched a lot of videos and reviews on different Class A's, and then.
And again, I had to have a washer and dryer and no dinette or booth.
Yeah, and this fit that. So
Yeah.
seeing different reviews, and then while just looking at what different dealerships had as far as looking at the floor plans, seen this one and we thought this is one we want to look at. So there was one locally that we could go look at, and we went and looked and said that's it.
Yeah.
If everything else is good, then
Yeah.
then that would, that's the one we want. And we didn't even really go up there that day thinking we're going to make a deal on a Class A.
We really didn't.
But when we seen that, and we seen the floor plan in person, it was like, we got to have this one before it's gone, because this is a Thor Challenger, and they do not do this particular floor plan anymore that I can tell. So
So when we're recording this video, it is 2022. So our rig is 2016. But we knew when we got our fifth wheel, which was brand new, we knew when we were going to trade for a Class A, we were going to go older so that we could get better quality.
Yeah, yeah, it's older, but it's like more higher end.
Yes.
It's at a higher end level than
Yes.
what we had. So just looked it over, real good, checked everything,
Mhm.
and a few things that we thought needed to be tweaked or fixed. We got the dealership was good about taking care of those things.
Mhm.
Another thing this had was our fifth one had a small residential fridge.
Yes.
This one has a large residential fridge, which we
with
like.
ice and water in the door.
And this was also pre-equipped with solar panels and within we've got inverters, so all the appliances will run once we disconnect, and they will run from point A to point B
Mhm.
without any problem.
Yes.
And then you got the generator to charge batteries up if they do start running low. It just has like 6 batteries on it, so
Yeah.
may eventually convert it to a lithium system. It doesn't have dry cell battery or wet cell batteries, so.
And also another thing that we really like about the Class A, among other things, we like most of it. But one thing we really like is when you're sleeping in the bedroom, you close both the pocket doors, you don't hear nothing. Like, it is pretty much soundproof.
Yeah, if somebody.
I mean,
yeah,
if somebody knocked on the door, we probably wouldn't hear it.
Yeah, and if the TV's on in the living room while somebody's in the bedroom, they will not hear it.
No.
You don't hear somebody rattling pans in the kitchen or
No,
anything.
you don't hear none of that.
And it's very, it's like you do not feel like you're in any kind of RV.
No, that's another thing. It feels more like a house, and the fifth one felt more like a trailer to me.
Right.
But yeah, our home base, our hometown, has trains like constantly. So that's one of the things too you won't hear in the bedroom when you're sleeping.
Yeah, I never hear any drive-by noise, cars starting,
No.
or anything when we're in there. So
Pretty amazing,
yeah,
really.
yeah, it's like being in a cave.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, so that's basically some of the reasons why we got the fifth wheel in the first place and then switched.
And we're also we're going to tow our car, and
oh yeah,
and so when we get to where we're going, we'll have a car that
yeah,
we'll tow her car,
yeah,
which is a small
Kia.
fuel efficient car, so we'll be able to
Yes.
drive around, get good gas mileage, and drive in tight areas without any problem, and
Mhm.
it'd be a lot more convenient.
Yeah, I just want to talk about some of the places that we've already visited in the fifth wheel. We went to
South Dakota.
mhm,
We've been to
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Arizona,
Mhm.
gone to the Texas coast 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
Uh,
and we don't plan on stopping. Our first trip in the Class A will be,
Port Aransas, Texas.
yes, which we have been before. We absolutely love it. We're going to be staying on Mustang Island. I always get it wrong and call it Monkey Island when he makes fun of me. It's Mustang Island
Because there's a Monkey Island
in
in
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma at Grand Lake, and she keeps thinking of that.
Yeah, but we have stayed in Port Aransas before, and we absolutely love it. We've stayed in Rockport, which we like that too, which is not very far from Port Aransas. But there's just something about island life that we just really love. So we do have a trip planned for coming up in October. This is September right now.
Yeah. In my current work situation, we went when instead of going back to the office permanently, they put us on a permanent hybrid situation. So it's a couple of days at the office each week, the rest of the time working from home. So I can easily we can go off for a month, and I can just use vacation days for office days, and then
Yeah.
so we're going to do that. We're going to take when we leave, we'll just go for a month at a time, and come back, and then and plan to pretty much winter.
Yeah.
We're in Oklahoma. It's hot here, but it's also winters are very, very extreme here. It gets really
Yes.
hot. It also gets really cold. So
Yep. Snow and ice.
we plan to winter in
Somewhere else.
southern, further south, coastal areas, things
Yeah.
like that. And then in the summer, we'll go, and during the heat of the summer, we'll go, like we went to Wisconsin in July,
Mhm.
where it was 110 here, and it'd be like 85 there. So,
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah. Wisconsin was an experience.
yeah, we're chasing 75. That's
Yes.
the idea. We want to chase 75
Yeah.
degrees, and as we'll do this the way we're doing it until a few years down the road when retirement time comes, and then we'll just we'll definitely chase 75 degrees
Yeah.
year round.
Yeah. And I'm retired, so I actually worked in grocery management, and now I do Instacart and Shipt. That's what I do in my free time, and also I do farmers market. I make homemade vanilla extract and sell it at the farmers market, and so I'm able to just go whenever. So really, we're just working around his job.
Well, if my bosses are watching this, if we went full-time remote, I would never retire. I would do my job until
Yeah.
I enjoy my job. I would do it until I physically couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But
Well, and here's another thing. The fifth wheel had an extra bedroom that we turned into an office for Randy. But here in the Class A, what we've done is he's got his office up front in the passenger seat because there's a, what's that thing called that comes out for your laptop? Like a tray.
yeah.
So he's got all his stuff set up there for his work, and it's really easy to break down when we want to go somewhere.
I can set up for work, and in 10 minutes I can break it down in 10 minutes. And
yeah, originally we thought he would use the dining room table to work, but real fast we decided no, because we actually are using it to eat at. Which, funny thing is, I did not grow up eating at the dinner table, and so when we lived in our house, we had a table. We never used it, and then we got rid of it, and we just sat in our recliner and ate. And so in the fifth wheel, that's what we did because there was no table. And so now here we are in the Class A, and there's an actual table with chairs, and we are absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
Like we are eating lunch
I
and dinner
I
there.
did grow up. We ate at the table and all that, but.
So yeah, we're actually using the table.
It worked out. When I got to thinking that the passenger and driving compartments are not used when you're parked and living.
Yeah.
So why not use that area rather than tying up living space? And then the benefit is that we do get to enjoy sitting at a table and eating.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's all we got.
Yeah, it's just so far we haven't gotten to go on a long trip yet. Just been running here and there. And this just taking some practice runs and unhooking, going down the road, driving some, and so far I like it. Driving it is fun, and we'll see what the gas mileage is like. It can't be much worse than what we were getting, and
right compared to the truck.
and we'll see how we like it. We'll keep doing videos for you guys, kind of let you know what we're doing and where we're going, and hopefully some interesting stuff for you. And and we can watch and see if we continue to love it or if we start hating it. Or
I don't think so.
No, I don't think we will. And another thing I wanted to mention before we go, the advantage to this Class A is the storage underneath.
Yes.
Where the first impression was we didn't think we had much storage inside, but you got a lot more storage underneath. And that is definitely a benefit.
Yes.
For the stuff that you like to have with you. That like I like doing most of my own work, so I have a lot of tools, and that's a lot easier to keep organized in this. And it's the things that you want with you, but you don't need in your house.
Yeah.
That you're able to take.
Right, and you can access it really easily.
But we plan to add gadgets, do upgrades, go places,
And we'll try to remember to pick up the
we'll try
camera.
yeah, and then when something funny happens, hopefully we've got the camera going, and she missed a good one the
I
other
did.
day. I had to climb in
The
the window because the door latch broke
Yeah, our door latch broke,
and left me locked outside.
so we actually had to climb through the window. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, I should have had the camera going.
So we'll try to get better at
Yeah.
capturing those moments.
Yeah, we'll try to get there.
And if we have things we're doing, we'll try to show how we're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully be informative. I know there's a lot of videos out there, but maybe we can bring a little different angle to it, or let you see it from a different perspective. So
Yeah.
I know I watch a lot of them.
Yeah, he does. He watches a lot. I'm a little goofy. And he can be a little serious sometimes, but I think I bring it out in him a little bit to be a little bit more goofy.
I'm me.
That's true. All right, guys, that's all we got. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check back because, like I said, we're gonna be going on our first trip, and we'll definitely be recording all of that.
The more you encourage us, the more we're going to do this.
Yeah. For sure. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I'm gonna have to cut all that out.